Restoration Druid this season in dungeons is incredibly fun and satisfying to play, so let's have some guide about it, right? I will split this guide, I'll not split, I will talk at the same time because healing is always the same. So I'll put here a damage build and also just pure healing build. Because of course we are healing so much now with Restoration Druid, also with new sets. With new set is healing absolutely massive amount, like this was 21 Wakefest. Look at the Nourish, that's what is the set doing. Final health 4-piece is absolutely insane how much heal you can get from 4-piece. So you have so much healing, you shouldn't be just focusing on healing but do more damage because you can heal so much even when you are focusing on damage. But of course, if you are struggling to heal people and people are dying and you didn't heal them fast enough and stuff like that, there is no reason to think about damage. So I will be talking about pure healing build and also more damage focus that most people are playing right now, like most people when you check hierarchies. But hey, if you're struggling on low keys with healing, there is no reason to focus on damage. So I will cover both of them. HVR heal is more or less same with both builds, so isn't really different, so I need to do two guides for them because it's absolutely something else now. The basic always stays the same, so it's just some tweaks to our healing when we are focusing more damage, but yeah, it's quite similar. So let's start with the stats. When you are pure healing focused, you are blasting haze. Well, with any build you are blasting haze as most priority stats. Don't mind my stats, I'm still just swapping gear, so I'm focusing more on item level than the best stats ever. So with the haste, you will do nothing bad. It's most important stat. Any build you are playing, haste should be very high, and you can go up to 6800, that's where third damaging starts. But feel free to have 6800, you should have 5000 as soon as possible. Never go under 5000. And like 6800 is ideal what you want. Really, you can go that high, it's so good. It's so good to have a lot of haste on Restoration Druid. Because everything is overtime, damage is overtime, healing is overtime, and you need to clear all of abilities at the same time. Everything is good with haste on Druid toolset. Second stat that is most important when you are focusing on healing is Mastery. Just go for 4000, don't go higher, it's a little bit overkill when you have over 4000. Of course, if you want, go for it and never go over 5000. It's just a waste. And you know what, because Mastery is just pure for healing and it's just specific for healing, but it's really good now because how much Nourish is healing. So because Nourish is profiting 300% more from Mastery. So yeah, have some Mastery. Even when you're going pure damage build, you can have some Mastery, of course, because it will help a little, but you can play with 0 if you want. So when you're going for healing, haste a lot. Second is Mastery. And then versatility for a little bit more survival also. It's increasing your damage, increasing everything. Versatility is a very good stat for dungeons. When you're going for pure damage build and you don't care about healing, of course don't care about healing, you don't need to heal that much or you are really confident with your healing. Again, full haste. Then second important stat is versatility. You will also go it higher. The third one is critical strike and mastery even 0. Of course, choose a little, you will have something from set pieces, so usually it won't be 0, but you can have a little, depend how confident you feel with your healing, because mastery is helping a lot, because we're healing a lot of with Nourish, and Nourish is mastery. So you see them absolutely, this is 21 Maker's Manor, Nourish blasted like a beast, maximum hit 370,000, insane. Let's have a look on talents. I have pure healing build loaded right now. If you are taking nothing from Kitty, or old set of Innervate help us with mana issues, that will damage, because when we are doing just healing, we want to do some damage. So this will help us to do damage from healing, and from the right tree we'll replace 3 for Convoke. So we'll be blasting some other cooldown because Convoke is much weaker now. Main purpose of Convoke was to proc Flourish. Now Flourish is so hugely nerfed. Convoke is not as huge, but 3 is much better now. It's also spawning little trees, and we'll combine it with Reforestation. And from the top sides you will go a little bit on Tranquil Mind instead of increased critical strikes on Regrowth, because you want to have that clear casting that is pumping absolutely massive healing for your set pieces. Then is the Kitty variant. Of course, on the left tree we are taking damage. We are not even going down here for Nature's Vigil. Innervate and stuff. Innervate is absolutely not needed. We have so much mana when we are healing, because set bonuses absolutely massive, and also when I'm using Kitty abilities is costing us 0 mana, because placing always Sunfire and Moonfires, there are every single Moonfire is 3000 mana, then we are casting Starfire Wrath. It's really cheap, but of course it's not free, so when you just keep spamming it will take some of your mana. When you're a kitty, you're just regenerating mana. Everything you use from damage on kitty is just costing energy, it's costing 0 mana, so it's absolutely almost free. So we're going instead of for Herald Wild, that is improving our DPS a lot, and right tree is almost the same thing as previous season. We just choose again, instead of Critical Strike, we are choosing Tranquil Mind because it's working very well with our set bonuses. There's notable variants for both of the builds is to choose Hibernate when you have Incorporeal. What you can sacrifice for that is when you don't need extra dispels, but usually in these dungeons you need them a lot. You can also sacrifice Typhoon or sacrifice Cell Healing to just choose Hibernate because you really need that for affix. Little bit general changes what we got from previous season. It's mainly two things changed. The Flourish got nerfed massively, and second thing what changed, new set is insane healing potential. It's healing so much. So what we lost our burst AoE heals, but we have replaced that with Nourish Brutal Burst, single target, and maybe 3 target because you are getting 40% of the huge heal is shared for 2 another targets. So what that means, we don't have as much bursts like AoE is one, but we have much more little burst on less targets. But I think that fits much better for Restoration Druid, because our weakness in dungeons was some unexpected damage on some single target. Somebody got a huge hit, we needed to top him really fast, and we just needed to spam regrowth. There was nothing else, because you can play as Life Bloom and Rejuvenation and regrowth, hold there and start healing him slowly. We didn't have something fast. Now we'll just cast Clear Casting, and from Clear Casting our regrowth will cast also Nourish, and that Nourish is 200% effectiveness, and that Nourish empowered by 200% will also heal 2 more targets, each target by 40% amount of heal, so 80% more. So this absolutely huge heal on one click. If you have a lot of hots on targets, because Nourish is profiting a lot from your mastery, if you have a lot of hots on the target, when you cast Clear Casting Regrowth, you will put heal for 1 million for one cast. It's absolutely insane how much potential you have from that set pieces. Also keep in mind your Nourish is like 4 times stronger than Groove Guardian Nourish, so it's massive number. I showed it already. I was healing massive. The amount of Nourish is maximum hit is 370,000. And with that new set, our potential to heal is much higher. We can blast much more heal, even more than previous season with the losing of Flourish, but we have replaced with the set bonuses that are absolutely massive. And as we have potential to heal a lot, and also we can heal much faster, so we don't need to be prepared as often as before, we have much more time for doing damage. And that's another reason why our damage is so high, or possibility of our damage in dungeon is so high. Of course, we got huge buffs for damage, but still, we have much more time for it. So let's start with priority. You can play rotation, whatever you want to call it. I like to call it priorities. Our most priorities is keep our 3 things prepared. Our most important stuff is Adaptive Swarm, Light Bloom targets, and Fluorescence under the group. So with Adaptive Swarm, it should be always casted. If you don't have 4 stacks on everybody, just cast it on cooldown, and remember to cast it as soon as possible, because when you cast it like after 10 seconds, cooldown is ready, the previous flies will disappear and will be just useless to stacking it even more. So try to use it as soon as possible when cooldown came out. They are doing good damage, they are doing good healing, and they are also increasing our heals on friendly targets or our effectiveness of damage over time on enemy targets. So in any case, absolutely massive thing to just always clicking on cooldown, really useful. Second, as mentioned, is Life Bloom, and it was very important, and now it's even more important, because what is doing Life Bloom have chance, 5% chance to cause you Clear Casting of Nest Regrowth. It was default 4%, we have another talent that is increasing to 5% by 1%, and we can have 2 stacks. So Life Blooms should be always up. When we are doing damage, they should be up, so we have stacks of Clear Casting ready. That Clear Casting stacks will use for regrowth, and that the regrowth will cast a huge Nourish from our 4-piece and even duplicate it with our 2-piece. So absolutely massive. So we are keep Life Blooms on 2 targets. We have 2 Life Blooms in dungeon. 1 target can be tank, second target can be DPS. You just choose targets that is who is taking most damage. Sometimes when it's just AoE, you just put 2 Life Blooms on a ranged target, because they're usually not standing in your efflorescence, so they are not getting heals from Verdancy. If almost nothing is happening, it's important to keep one on tank, because tank is usually taking damage when other group is not taking damage. So on tank and some ranged DPS who is not staying in a circle is ideally when it's not huge AoE damage. When it's huge AoE damage, tank is usually alright, because tank have no problems with huge AoE damage. Just put it on 2 ranged or just 2 DPS. Don't usually put it on yourself in dungeons, because when you put it on yourself, it's how you use it in a raid. Is your periodic heals are healing 20% faster. We are not going for that in dungeons, that's rating. We are going for a second effect, and second effect is while your life bloom is on ally, your periodic heals on them have 4% chance to cause it to bloom. Why it's so important? Because when life bloom blooms, it will proc Verdancy, and Verdancy will heal 3 targets inside of efflorescence. And of course also when life bloom blooms, it's healing a lot. And what is life bloom blooming is the effect that is on end of the duration of life bloom, that big heal and life bloom ends. But with those talents with photosynthesis, life bloom can bloom anytime if you have that 4% chance. There is one occasion you want to use life bloom yourself, when you are the one who is getting damage, or you are the one that need to be overhealed by single target, and it's absolutely massive to use it on yourself, because of course you are going for single target. And also you need to think about life bloom is counting as 3 stacks for harmony. So life bloom is like 3 hots on the target. So targets with life bloom, you are healing much more. If you have some mastery, or rather more mastery you have, the more potency you have on life bloom targets. So yeah, keep switching it when you need to focus some other players and think about who deserves more to have life bloom. Sometimes on you when you need to overheal yourself a single target. When you are using AoE and everybody is dying, just keep it on others and try to heal through Verdancy. And yes, everybody should stand in efflorescence. If they are not standing, that's not their fault. They should stand there. It's Druid, it's not Resto Shaman, nobody's staying in circle. They should stay in their efflorescence. And if they are not standing and they are just dying and they are like 2 steps away, it's not their fault. It's really not your fault. Just heal as you should be. If they are dying because it's their fault, that, oh, I don't want to move a few seconds in this direction, just don't care. You did your work. And I mentioned this many times, but yeah, our third thing that should be always prepared is our efflorescence. Be on the targets. Usually when I put efflorescence is on the pack, so tank is standing in it, melees are standing in it, and I stand in it. So if some ranged are not staying inside the efflorescence, that's usually where I put life blooms on them, because life bloom will kill them alive, and others will get healed by Verdancy that is standing in efflorescence. So for example, there is 1 melee, 1 tank, me and 2 ranged DPS, they usually don't stand in efflorescence because they are just running whatever, who cares. I put 2 life blooms on them. They are getting huge heals from life blooms because it's blooming, because I have other hots on the target, life blooms. Not sure if I mentioned it, but when you have life bloom targets, you should put as many hots as possible on the life bloom, because every single hot on life bloom target is increasing chance how much it will bloom. Also when you're standing in efflorescence is another hot, and stuff like that, regular is another hot. Any hot flies out of this farm is another hot, so it has increasing chance of bloom. So you put the life bloom on 2 ranged targets, they are getting massive heals from life blooms. And when the life blooms are blooming, we 3, like me, melee and tank, are getting heals by Verdancy that is standing in the circle. So this is just nice combo. And really think about healing a lot with life blooms, healing a lot of Verdancy. And the third thing you are healing a lot is clear casting regulars. So these 3 things should be always prepared. Adaptive Swarm, almost on cooldown, keep 2 life blooms up, and efflorescence under the group. All the times, any times. Then you have all this prepared, and it's still not enough to heal, because it's of course healing quite a lot just by the default. We are using our Groove Guardian. It's absolutely massive ability. It's costing very little mana, it's just 3000. It's off global cooldown, so we are not even wasting any time by using that ability. And it's choosing low health targets, it's choosing targets with hots, so it's almost perfect choosing which targets to heal. So it's absolutely massive thing. We just keep using it, don't keep it on 3 stacks when there is some little damage to heal. And yeah, keep using it. It's absolutely very nice ability to use. You just click it and you don't need to think about it. It's just healing a lot with 2-piece. Amazing. After that, still not enough, we are getting to our main heal. I would definitely say Clear Cast plus Leg Route is our main heal in dungeons. It's healing insane numbers. So that's why we have prepared that life blooms. Now we are getting that Clear Cast. To get Clear Cast from life bloom is not the same as proc bloom from life blooms, because bloom is proccing the more healing over time effects you have on life blooms. Clear Casting is just proccing from heal of life blooms, so for proccing Clear Cast you don't need to put more hots on life bloom targets. It doesn't matter. When you get clear casting, or next deck growth is free of mana cost, so it's absolutely massive too, because it's not costing you any mana. You will heal a lot by regrowth because it's just a decent healing ability. And that regrowth will cast Nourish, as we speak about it earlier. So consuming clear casting now causes your regrowth to also cast Nourish onto nearby injured allied at a 200% effectiveness, preferring those with your heal over time effects. So it's even choosing best target. Lowest health or also lowest health with odds on them. And of course that will be shared on 2 additional targets with 40% effectiveness, that's 80% increase your healing with that Nourish. And that's absolutely massive. So when you have clear casting, you have your preparation up, your 3 things, your adaptive swarm, your life rooms, and your efflorescence, then you are casting this massive regrowth Nourishes. It's still regrowth, but yeah, it's Nourish, but it's healing with that ability. So yeah, keep pumping it. That's why it's so important to have life blooms. And clear casting regrowth is much more than spamming regrowth. So think about that. Don't just spam regrowth because somebody's a little bit dying. Just reapply that life blooms to get a proc, and that will heal them to full just easily. After that, we have priority on to your scenario bar. Is a little bit dropped lower than before because now we have some brutal clear casting regrowths. So, but yeah, it's cheap on mana. It's cooldown, but it's really effective because it's arrow faster. Hold on the target. So yeah, just anyone, single target, anyone who is dying more, or just put it on tank when he's running to the peg. So when he starts tanking peg, he will get some nice healing on the start. As usually, tanks have worse survivability on the start of the peg, first few seconds. So it's nice to just put on tank when he's going to peg. Our next priority is to place rejuvenations on our life bloom target. Why? Just to make it bloom more often. So we are healing AoE more, we are healing the targets with life blooms more. Don't do common mistake when you are healing some AoE and you have, let's say you have 3 targets and you will put rejuvenation on the third target that doesn't have life bloom. Not really, because the third target will get healed from your verdancy if you put rejuvenation on your life bloom targets. So focus with your rejuvenations first target with life blooms. Then we are using Swiftment. Usually you are using Swiftment in Black Growth. You will use Swiftment. Of course, you will heal the target a little bit more. You will aid some healing over time effect on the target. And that use will proc our Soul of the Forest buff, and our next wild growth will be increased by 50%. So you usually want to use it to get a similar duration of cooldown. And that's the way how we heal our AoEs, that we need to heal more than just our verdancy and efflorescence. So that's what we do. If you are playing pure healing build, you have also a reforestation. So Swiftment cast is even more important than before, and you want to just cast it just when it's cooldown ready too, and you can use it on whatever spell. Doesn't matter, just because you have 1 stack more to free cast of your Tree of Life. So just use it a little bit more when you are playing pure healing build, not just with wild growth. And on our bottom of the list, if everything else is already casted on cooldown, everything is prepared, and we still need more healing, then we are casting Rejuvenation. I didn't include it in priority list, but regrowth is important to just blast when you need to overheal somebody even more, and absolutely nothing is prepared already. You have life rooms every single hot on the targets, you don't have any procs, and you really need to overheal some single target. Just spam regrowths. I don't like to put it into priority list because a lot of people are overusing regrowth and don't have mana and problems like that. Regrowth is spam on, it's alright, but this healing potential is not really high. You won't do massive health per second with just clicking regrowths. So yeah, but when you need to overheal some single target and you really need to fast and you don't have nothing prepared, stuff like that, even try when you need to overheal fast. If you have that 1 global cooldown time, just put life room before you spam regrowth, because the life room is 3 hots and increasing healing on a target a lot. But yeah, try to avoid. I usually don't even use some regrowth spam on single target, but when you need it, you need it. So think about option that just don't put it somewhere in priority. Oh, this is what we are doing. So overall recapitulation with our healing. On start, we have 3 things to prepare: Adaptive Swarm, Life Blooms, and Efflorescence under the group. That's what we should be always ready. Then we are starting to click our Groove Guardians, and we are using our clear casting regrowths. That should be enough for most damage that dungeons are dealing to us. If we still need more healing, we are starting casting Swiftment, we are doing wild growth with that. If we are playing Reforestation, we are also getting stacks for our free trees, and we are spamming more hots on the targets with life blooms, so our verdancy is even more potent then without any additional healing over time effects on our targets. Somewhere there will skis Scenario Ward on cooldown because it's just quite effective heal and cheap. And when everything else is casted and still need more healing, we're just spreading rejuvenations on targets. When you have Tree of Life, rejuvenation is healing 50% more, costing 30% less mana. When you have Tree of Life, spam rejuvenations on many targets is definitely the way to go for some extra healing. And as a last measure, when you really need to pump somebody fast, you just spam regrowths. And ideally when you have in Tree of Life, because regrowths are instant, and ideally when you use Innervate, if you have the talented, just don't run out of mana, because instant spam regrowths is really hurt your mana a lot. A little bit talk about changes to your healing when you are playing more damage build or fighting kitty build. Important in damage build is to heal as little as possible, or rather to use abilities that are not costing as much as your time. So usually you should have prepared Adaptive Farm, Life Blooms, and Effervescence. Adaptive Farm is also good damage, so there is no brainer. Always have it ready, and these abilities are healing a lot on its own, so when not more healing is required, they will heal a lot on their own. You just place it, forget it, you start doing damage. When they're perished, you just replace them. So really have always prepare even when you are doing damage, because maybe you don't need to heal now, but in the moment, if you're not prepared, you need to spend more time healing. Then if you have these things prepared and you just go outside the kitty, you click to clear cast regrowths, reapply life moves, go back to kitty, you will do much more healing, or rather much faster healing than if you didn't have anything prepared. You just start spamming regrowth regeneration, because putting on the ground is already too late, and you spend much more time on healing eventually than you was thinking you would save. Here is also huge that Adaptive Swarm and Druid Guardian, you can use them from cat form. Another thing how you can heal from cat form is when you're a cat and you use Nature Swiftness, you can use your regrowth instantly and you don't get out of the kitty. It's not proccing your kill casting, so think about that. It's not as strong as kill casting, but by the way, you can cast free regrowth every 1 minute, and it's inside the kitty form, so we don't waste another global cooldown to go back to kitty again. Now let's talk about cooldowns. So our main cooldowns, that is for any build, is Nature Swiftness. We always have it. A fast regrowth, it's always with regrowth. It shouldn't be something else. It's not as important for something else. So just click it. Your regrowth is next regrowth is instant, costing no mana, and is 100% stronger. So when somebody needs some fast spot healing, or you are in kitty form and you want to go back and just a little heal, you can use from there. Another cooldown both builds have is Flourish. Yes, it's massively nerfed, but cooldown is a little bit shorter, so we can use it much more often. Much more, 33% more often, but still more often. And now it's usually to extend duration of your HUDs. So very simple, the more HUDs you have on target, the better use of your flourishes is. Also increase your healing by 25%, or rather, its overtime effects are healing 25% faster. But it's not as huge as before because it was 100%. Now usually it just extend or your duration of your HUDs. You'll save some mana, you'll save some time reapplying it, and it's very good to use after you cast your Wild Growth, because Wild Growth is healing strongly from start, and its healing is just diminishing over time. So as in the description, healing starts high and declines over the duration. That means when you extend Wild Growth, just when you cast the Wild Growth, instantly after it, it will get much more healing pumped out of Wild Growth, not just with pure increase, like 25% increase, so healing over time. Then we have 2 and 2 cooldowns. 2 cooldowns we are playing in healing build, 2 cooldowns we are playing in DPS build. From our healing build, we have Tree of Life and we have Innervate. So Tree of Life, massive cooldown. When you have it, every 10 seconds you'll spawn Group Guardians. They are healing on its own, they are healing a lot. Nice thing. And when you have Tree, all your healing is increased by 15% and you have bonus effect to your abilities. So main ability when you have in Tree of Life is Rejuvenation. It's healing 50% more and costing 30% less mana. So when you are in Tree of Life, that's your best ability to use. Second is Regrowth. It's instant, nothing else. So when you really need to overheal somebody, just start blasting Regrowth. Think about using Innervate, because otherwise you will lose your mana very fast, because it's instant Regrowths. It's eating a lot of mana. Wild Growth are no changes for dungeons, it's just worth it in the raid. And your Brat is instant cast and dealing 20% more damage, so if you have nothing to heal in Tree of Life, just use it for a little bit more damage and spam those Brats. And so second one is already mentioned, Innervate. It's even nerfed too from previous season, is duration is 8 seconds, not 10 seconds, and it's just making everything free of mana cost. So when you're on 3 of life and you're spamming regrowths or spamming regenerations, just whatever, just click it and save some mana. The more abilities you will use during Innervate, the more profit you have from that ability use. And now when you're playing DPS build, you have 2 different cooldowns for using. So from the left tree you have Head of the Wild, and from the right tree you have Convoke. Yeah, the Convoke again, but this Convoke we are using for damage, we are using it for our DPS, and we are using it in kitty form. So it will start scratching everybody, everything on the side. Of course, if we are in tight squeeze with healing, we have some problems we need to pump a little bit faster, we'll not prepare something like that. Just click on healing. Definitely don't keep that cooldown when you really need heal right now. Don't think, oh, this is my kitty cooldown. No. You can just click it, but yeah, you want to have 100% casts of Convoke in kitty in idle run of dungeon. Now let's with the rule how to force better abilities from your Convoke when you are in kitty. That Convoke is like checking what is happening around you and is filling abilities that are missing. So we are focusing on damage, so let's say what you need to do to min-max damage. Convoke is healing, also healing, and not your group is full. So try to time it when the group is healed to some phase there is not AoE damage to group or something like that. It's best time to that, because otherwise it will start casting regenerations, regrowths. You don't want that. You also want to have dots applied on the targets. They usually don't cast Sunfire, but Moonfire is definitely casting, so have Moonfire. When you are fighting boss, definitely have Moonfire on him when you're casting Convoke. It's also casting your kitty abilities, so it's casting Rake, but you can cast Rake easily, so definitely you want to have Rake up, and it's also casting Trash if this is not on targets. So definitely you want to have Rake applied, you have Trash applied, you have Moonfire applied, and your group is full. That's ideally time to use Convoke to min-max damage. And of course you want to be on melee, but I think that's quite reasonable because you are using an kitty, and otherwise you are casting just some ranged abilities and probably some heals. And the second damage cooldown is Head of the Wild, is increasing our physical damage by 20%. That's quite huge, and is also regenerating 1 combo point every 2 seconds. It's long 5-minute cooldown, but also duration is quite long, it's 45 seconds. So it makes quite ideal to use it on bosses because you have a lot of times that boss is alive. Usually some packs are dying really short. You pull the pack in 15 seconds, pack is dead. So there is definitely wasted that cooldown to use it there. If you have bigger packs and there is no damage on that packs, yeah, definitely good time to use it. But usually best to use it on bosses because bosses live long time. There's also 5-minute cooldown, so not like you can use it every second pack or something like that. Now it's time for explaining damage. So I don't need to switch talents when I'm doing just pure healing build. What you want to do is to have Sunfire up, you want to have your Moonfires up, and then when you have 3+ target, you are just spamming Starfire. And that's all you need to do. You're keeping uptimes on both debuffs and spamming Starfire. If you have 1 or 2 targets, you are casting Wrath. If you have many main targets, don't cast Moonfire on every single target, because then it's just worth it to just cast Sunfire and just blasting Starfire. And also when you need to move and Peg is moving, it's not so easy to just put Moonfire on every single target. But on like 5 targets, it's worth it to place Moonfires. Maybe on 6 targets, 7 targets, I will probably stop applying it. I don't know exactly where it's good place, but it's a little bit different when you're playing dungeons. So I don't know, 3 targets apply Moonfires, then just don't bother, because usually it don't even live that long when you have a lot of little ones, because little ones usually dying much faster, don't have like 500,000 health or something like that. Depend which dungeon you are, where you are, which number. So yeah, many targets don't even reapply Moonfires. Of course 1 or 2 targets definitely Moonfires and cast Wraths. That's all you need to know when you are just doing pure healing. Of course you are clicking Nature's Vigil when you have time. Any time is good time, but when you are healing a lot, before it was always this Flourish, but now Flourish have shorter cooldown, so yeah, anytime you need to heal a lot, you are blasting your heals, just click Nature's Vigil. So that's another ability we should pay focus on when you are doing damage as a healer, or as pure healer, let's say it that way. And now that's a bit more advanced way to do damage when we are in our damage build. So we are playing with a kitty. So usually when you're starting with the boss, starting with the pack, you are not on melee because tank is on melee. That it should be always first, you know, so we don't die. Makes sense, right? So, tank, just pull it. You are running to the back, so you don't need to run in kitty. Okay, it's a little bit faster, but let's use that time usefully. So we're running to the back, you are spreading. Ooh, Moonfire, maybe another one. And then you are switching to kitty. So the first important thing is to spam some Sunfire and Moonfires when you're running to the pack to just use your time when you're getting there, so start with that. If you have more than 4 targets, we are using Trash. We have 5, so we will apply Bleeds from Trash too. Then we are spreading our Rake Bleeds, as many targets as possible. And when we have full combo points, we are using it on Rip. And Rip is our main source of damage. We are spreading your Bleeds, we are using combo points for Rip. If target is about to die or you're on Trash Pack and they're dying really fast, just don't spend all combo points. Just later you will have some feeling how long the pack will live. So just use less points and just place a little bit shorter rips, but as many targets as possible, because rip is our main source of damage. We are very in the kitty form, and overall is our main source of damage in damage build. After we applied our Rake, Trash and Rip Bleeds, it's usually time again, restack some debuffs and Moonfires. You need to have feeling how many you want to reapply, but our kitty damage is more important than our Moonfire, so don't spend a lot of times to apply Moonfire, just click a few of them, click Sunfire, kill few of them, maybe some heals because you're not in kitty form, and go back to kitty, because kitty is just primary focus on damage, is dealing more damage than our Sunfires and Moonfires, and it's costing also less mana. So you just reapply, go back to your human form, reapply debuffs, then go back to kitty. So now we are back in kitty, and we should reapply bleed, but let's say it's already applied, and everything have Rake and Trash on it. Then we are starting use Shred. So of course it's not bleed, it's not doing as much, but it's generating our combo points, it's doing some damage, and after we get 5 combo points and everything have already a Rip on it, we don't need to use it, then we use our combo points on Ferocious Bite. And that's all we need to do. Also we have Swipe, but Swipe you need to have, I don't know, 20 targets. If you have 20 targets, use Swipe. Yeah, but it's usually not happening. Or usually the other targets are dying so fast, but yeah, you can spam Swipe. Then you pull, I don't know, 50 small worms in Black Ismail, stuff like that. And Swipe is worth it, but its damage is so little. So just keep spamming it. But yeah, use Swipe instead of Shred. But still apply Bleeds, because Bleeds are just better damage overall. Of course matter, when you have huge packs, it's no brainer. So let's talk about this in full package. So we are running, we are applying Sunfire and Moonfire, then we are going to kitty, we are spreading our Bleeds, Trash and Rake, we are generating combo points, we are spending combo points on Rip. If our Sunfire, Moonfire drops, or is close to end of duration, so we reapply it, and then when everything have Rake, then we are starting using Shred to just do more damage and spend our energy to generate combo powers. If we have combo powers and everything have Rip, then we are using that combo powers on Ferocious Bite. We will squeeze Swipe in our rotation when we have a lot of targets, then we are casting Swipes, but it's not happening that often. And that will be everything from me and my guide. I hope everything was understandable. If you don't understand something or need a little bit more explanation, just ask me anytime. You can check it also on Discord, it's in text form. So if reading is better for you, or not like little breaks between parts of information, you can just pause it when you are reading, whatever, I don't know what I'm saying anyway. So yeah, thank you for watching, think about like and subscribe, it's helping me a lot, and goodbye.